The state of Oregon is in the grip of reefer madness.
There's no need for this. It is about recreational use. It is about getting high.
I just like to smoke weed.
Are you smoking today?
Yeah.
If passed, it would be a radical change of course in the war on drugs. Some call it a retreat.
And I don't know how we got to this point. We've made such progress on drug prevention. Why would we want to get to a place where we're now promoting and advertising and marketing drugs?
To others, it's smarter strategy.
Treating marijuana use as a crime in Oregon has failed.
So far, 2 states, Colorado and Washington, have legalized pot. Is Measure 91 building on those states' success or just repeating a half-baked idea?
You know, in Colorado, they didn't really spell out the rules and regulations. They were going to deal with that later. But you see here in Oregon, in this measure, there's restrictions on advertising, restrictions on where you can sell marijuana, can't be within 1,000 feet of a school.
And right across the river in Washington,
it's been a long time coming, the allowance of recreational use of marijuana.
critics who actually live in legal weed states feel they've been misled.
People are realizing that they voted for a full industry. I mean, industry in terms of, quote, big marijuana.
Only time will tell if those states made the right call on cannabis. So the question for Oregon, what's the rush?
We can do better.
KATU checked with 2 legal heavyweights in Oregon. Mark McDonald, former senior deputy DA for Multnomah County, and former Oregon Supreme Court Justice Bill Riggs, who has always voted against legalizing weed until now.
Let's say you're concerned about children or gateway drug issues or things like that. This measure covers those things, and quite effectively.
Both agree legal pot is inevitable, but not on whether Measure 91 measures up to what's best for Oregonians now.
The exceptions are so large that regulation will be meaningless.
The product is going to get turned into things no one could have imagined.
And that's what has some moms concerned. Cannabis that looks like candy to kids.
Do you want Fruity Pebbles look-alike cereals? Do you want lollipops and cotton candy and ice cream and soda?
Other moms aren't so worried.
This is what edibles will look like. They will be tested, they will be labeled, they will only be sold to adults.
If passed, Measure 91 would legalize recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older, allow the possession of 8 ounces of dried marijuana and up to 4 plants, and it would put the Oregon Liquor Control Commission in charge of regulating pot sales. The latest exclusive KATU Survey USA poll shows Measure 91 leading by 11 points. 48% will vote for legalized marijuana, 37% will not, 15% are undecided. Younger voters could be the ones who will decide if this measure will puff, pass. So where better to discuss this important issue than a college campus? Right now, KATU and PSU convenes to debate Measure 91. The arguments against: Josh Markey, Clatsop County District Attorney; Dr. Ron Schwerzler, Serenity Lane Medical Services Director. The arguments for: Inga Fricklin, former prosecutor; Richard Harris, former Director of Oregon Addictions and Mental Health Services. Asking the questions: Noelle Crombie, reporter for The Oregonian; Colleen Leary, Associate News Editor for the Portland State Vanguard; and Aaron Mesh, reporter for Willamette Week. We welcome you to Portland State University's Lincoln Hall Theater in downtown Portland for this very important town hall. Oregon's Great Pot Debate starts now.